So this is the inaugural Cannabis 42.0, and if you don't know what 420 is, which is what we're hinting at, it's the cannabis holiday. It's basically April 20th. It's also a time at 4:20 p.m., which is a time to celebrate. The Cannabis 42.0 is a list of some of the most influential and successful people in the cannabis industry. And we focused on independently owned companies. We have cannabis cultivators, we have packaging companies, we have pre-rolled joint manufacturers and edibles companies. We also have B2B companies, we have software companies, and fintech platforms. We're really looking to highlight some of the industry's fastest growing companies, most successful, most influential brands. Selecting 42 companies in an industry that made $25 billion in sales last year is no easy feat. We talked to analysts, we talked to investors, we talked to entrepreneurs. We took into account what all those sources said, but we also found sales data, financial documents, and investor decks to look through each company and decide whether or not, are their sales big enough, what's their place in the market. And then we brought all that together and weighted each company and basically scored each company. And that's how we brought down a list of 150 companies down to 42. We have a couple edibles manufacturers on our list. During the pandemic, edible sales went up 40%. So one of the companies is Kiva Confections, which is started by a husband-wife duo in the San Francisco area, and they're one of the best-selling chocolates and gummies companies in America right now. One of the companies on the list is AE Global, founded by this guy, Mike Ferenza. They're out of Miami, Florida, and one of their main products is a child-proof box for vape cartridges. Child-proof packaging is obviously very important and vital to the health and safety of children, but also the longevity of this industry, right? We are just getting to a point where, the stigma around cannabis has been lowered. Most Americans think it should be legal, but what you do not want is children to get into edibles, packages, vape cartridges. So AE Global's position in the industry is really important. Another standout on the list is a software company called Dutchie. They're basically the Shopify of the cannabis space, and they sell POS software to dispensaries. This company was founded by two brothers in Bend, Oregon, and they have the highest valuation of any software company in the industry at $3.8 billion. One of the biggest issues on the business side is cash management. Cannabis is still federally illegal, which means most banks in America will not do business with these companies. What that means is that a lot of these dispensaries have piles of cash, literal piles of cash, and they have to bring them to a bank that will do business with them or the Federal Reserve, which ironically will take that money. One of the companies is Imperial Logistics, which was founded by Deirdre O'Gorman, and her company specializes in cash management and has a fleet of armored trucks and other services. So we also have a place on the list for legacy growers and operators. This guy, Johnny Casale, he runs Huckleberry Hill Farms, which is in southern Humboldt in California, and he started growing cannabis when he was 15. He grew up on a farm with his mother, who taught him how to grow weed. He got into the industry before it was legal. He actually went to prison after the cops raided his farm, and he came out, went straight, and then once California was legalizing medical marijuana, he jumped back into the industry. And so he's a great example of the continuation of craft cannabis. Right now, we are seeing the industrialization of the cannabis industry, so grows that are humongous. But Huckleberry Hill Farms is the opposite of industrial. They, Johnny's farm only produces 700 pounds of cannabis a year, which sounds like a lot, but trust me, it is not. And one of his company's claims to fame is that Willie Nelson, the famous musician and stoner, has a company called Willie's Reserve, and Willie's Reserve tapped Johnny to grow weed for his brand. So an emerging trend in the industry is beverages. Right now, it's tiny. It's about 1% of the total market, and people write it off as nothing, right? But not everybody is going to want to smoke. Not everybody is going to want to vape. What beverages can do is really be an easy introduction to cannabis to somebody who doesn't imbibe. One of the companies on our list is Can, which is a beverage company, and they specialize in what's called a microdose. So like 2.5 milligrams of THC. You know, they are going for the new consumer, people who are either returning or people who have never consumed before. And they also have a lot of celebrity investors. They're making waves in the beverage space. America has reached a tipping point where cannabis is legal in 37 states. Federal legalization is on the horizon. And companies are making products for people who have been smoking weed for years to people who have never once touched an edible. What we really should look out for is some of these companies becoming household brands.